If your employer gave you a bonus and then asked for it back 2 years later, what would you do? The mortgage market in the United States is so bad that lenders want ex-employees to give back their bonuses, according to the Wall Street Journal. Now that's a pretty shocking headline to read, so I wanted to find out what exactly is going on. How are lenders trying to get their employee bonuses back, and why is this happening? A lot of these bonuses were in the range of $100,000 and more, and apparently some bonuses were even over $1 million. And now some lenders are suing to get them back. Let's see what's going on in the US mortgage industry bloodbath. Hey everyone, my name is Preet and I'm a consultant to the wealth management industry and former stockbroker, and this channel is for anyone who wants to learn more about the world of money around us. Okay, let's get right to it. Why are lenders suing employees to give back their bonuses? To understand why mortgage lenders have been demanding the bonuses they gave to employees and agents 2 years ago be paid back, we need to look at the extraordinary events that have taken place over the last 4 years. Part 1 of our story is the amazing boom for American housing. As we know, housing prices have been marching up for a long time. If we go back to the great financial crisis in 2008-2009, the median sale prices of houses sold increased from a low of about $208,000 in 2009 to about $329,000 right before the pandemic was declared. That's an increase of just under 60% in 11 years. And during this time, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate was consistently low, and low rates encourage borrowing, and that's what people did. But then, the pandemic hit.
Things just got out of hand.
Housing demand and prices surged even further. Some people used pandemic savings towards down payments and were finally able to buy for the first time. Lots of people wanted to move out of city centers or into homes that could better accommodate remote working, and interest rates dropped even further. Some people took advantage of increased home equity and lower interest rates to move into larger homes. Mortgage originations, and an origination is basically the creation of a mortgage loan, nothing fancy. Mortgage originations exploded up by almost 65% in 2020. Refinancing loans specifically increased by 150% in 2020. And 2021 was also a barnstormer of a year. The total volume of mortgage originations set a new all-time record at $4.4 trillion. And when times are good, what do? You double down and you ride the wave by hiring more bodies, and you're willing to pay up to bring people to your company. And that's what a lot of companies did. And that's where these big bonuses came from. Record-breaking activity in mortgages across the board. And then the music stopped.
I'm afraid that I don't hear a thing. Just silence.
Don't forget to hit the like button, if not for me, then for Jeremy Irons. How good was he in Margin Call? Anyways, as fast as mortgage activity had accelerated and expanded, it decelerated even faster. As inflation started to take off, sentiment changed with the expectation that interest rates were going to have to increase, and then they did increase rapidly. If we look at the headline 30-year fixed-rate mortgage average in the U.S., it hit a low of 2.65% on January 7th, 2021. It started to really take off in 2022, and as of right now, sits just below 8%. This has been a massive increase over a very short period of time, and here's a very interesting wrinkle that is unique to the U.S. mortgage market, at least compared to their neighbors to the north, Canada, and in the United Kingdom. Mortgages aren't generally portable in the U.S. What is mortgage portability? In the United Kingdom and Canada, it's not uncommon to get portable mortgages. And what that means is that you can take your mortgage loan with you if you move. The benefit is clear. If you have a really good rate that's locked in for a long time, you can keep your great rate even though existing available rates might be much higher because you just port your existing mortgage over to the new home. And if you move into a much more expensive home, any equity you built up in your old home could help offset the higher price, or you could effectively get a second, smaller mortgage for the difference, which might be a higher rate, but if the bulk of what you owe is locked in at a lower rate, you still come out ahead. So mortgage portability can be a very good thing. However, apparently US mortgages are generally not portable. I think it was E-Trade actually in 2003 that experimented with portable mortgages, but other than that, you really don't hear much about them. And what this means is that people have what are called golden handcuffs attached to their homes. Unless they have to move, they're not going to. Not if they're going to go from paying 3% interest to 8% interest, especially when home prices haven't dropped enough to help negate the increase in their monthly payments due to increased interest rates. One couple profiled by the Wall Street Journal back in May of this year had locked in a 30-year fixed rate in 2021 at 3.4%. At the time, if they wanted to move, that would have meant getting a mortgage at a new rate around 6.5% and facing an increase in monthly payments of $1,100. And since then, the situation has only gotten worse, with 30-year fixed rates hovering around 8% right now. That basically means that a lot of would-be sellers just aren't going to sell. And that partly explains why existing house prices increased by 2.8% year over year in September. A lack of supply due to people wanting to avoid losing their great rates on their mortgages, and so they aren't selling. And that could last for a while. But when we take a look at new home sales, it's a different story. Median prices for new homes dropped 12.3% year over year in September, and new home sales activity is actually at a 19-month high. But when it comes to new homes, it's not like there are people in there locked into a mortgage they don't want to leave that's preventing them from being sold. It's really just a function of how fast builders can build new homes. So even though new home sales are chugging along, builders are building a little bit, as a share of overall home sales in any given year, they are closer to like 20% of the market. You put this all together, and lower refinancing activity coupled with lower purchase activity has led to the mortgage origination market just drying up. Compared to the record mortgage originations in 2021 of $4.4 trillion, the estimate for 2023 is under $1.9 trillion. And that is a massive drop. So how has this slowdown in mortgage activity affected the industry? Well, the Wall Street Journal reports that at this year's annual Mortgage Bankers Association conference, a number of speakers have basically written off 2024 using a slogan, "Stay alive until 25." As in 2025 is when there might be light at the end of the tunnel. In 2021, there were 420,000 people working in the mortgage industry, and that number has dropped by almost 20%, or 83,000 jobs, to 337,000 people as of 2 months ago. And a further decline of 34,000 jobs is expected in the near future. Not only are there fewer people working in the industry, they are closing way fewer deals per person. According to the company Encino, loan officers closed an average of 8.15 deals in September of 2020, but in September 2023, 3.45. That's a decline of almost 60%. So the boom times ended in a hurry. Everybody in the mortgage market is now in survival mode, and drastic times call for drastic measures. Hence, some mortgage lenders are asking for those big signing bonuses back. So, how is this possible? And is it legal? Well, in the case of one mortgage lender, Guaranteed Rate, they apparently structured the big signing bonuses that they offered to poach bankers from the competition as 2-year loans to the new hires. And the new hires didn't have to make any payments on these loans, and the idea was that after 2 years, the loans would just be forgiven. Because the mortgage lending business is a very cyclical industry, apparently bonus clawbacks are not an altogether new phenomenon. They're just very pronounced right now because of the velocity of the boom followed by an even faster bust. It was reported that some bankers left Guaranteed Rate on their own before the 2-year period because business had dried up so much that they just weren't making any money at all. Others have alleged that the performance goals were announced by Guaranteed Rate after the signing bonuses were paid and mortgage business started to evaporate. So while both sides are lawyering up, there is precedent for these signing bonuses being clawed back before, and some or all of these bonuses may legally have to be handed back to lenders this time as well. Now, if you're wondering if any bonuses you might have been paid from your employer are subject to clawback, you should know that while signing bonuses might be more likely to come with certain conditions, like staying with the company for a certain period of time, Annual bonuses don't tend to have the same conditions, but in either case, it probably doesn't hurt to dig up your original offer letter or employment contract or both and give those another read. Now, all that being said, the U.S. economy overall is putting up some strong numbers. The GDP annualized growth rate for the third quarter of 2023 just came in at 4.9%, which was more than twice the growth rate of the previous quarter. The overall labor market is still tight, unlike the mortgage industry specifically. Overall, for the entire U.S. economy, layoffs are at a 9-month low, and job openings are elevated. More people are now talking about a cooling off or a soft landing than before, at least compared to a hard landing. But at the same time, delinquencies on subprime auto loans have increased to levels not seen since 1994. So there are certainly some mixed signals out there. If you hit the like button, I'll publish more often. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and I will see you in the next video.
Love over money.